to get 90,000 approximately signatures from across the state to place it on the ballot, and of course then the people either vote yes or no, and you have to get a majority of those voting in the election to vote for it in order for it to become law. The way we come up with that number in the Constitution, it says 12% of the number who voted in the last gubernatorial election. So our last gubernatorial election was back in 2007, and you take that total number of votes that were cast for all candidates running at that time, say times 12%, and that comes up to roughly 90,000 signatures. It's actually 91,000 and some odd number, but at any rate, the goal is to get the 90,000 signatures from all across the state. There's a second requirement on the initiative, which also makes it difficult, which says you can't just go to a couple of large counties around the state and get your 90,000 and let that be that. The legislature, back 15 years ago, when they came up with the initiative process, wanted to make sure that it was an issue that had resonance in the entire state, that had support from all corners of Mississippi to be placed on the ballot and circumvent the legislative process. So to that end, they required that equal numbers of the signatures come from each of the congressional districts. And so, if there's a coastal issue, you can't just go down to the coast, the 3 coastal counties, and get 90,000 signatures. You got to get some from Tupelo, some from Meridian, some from Natchez, all over the state. And of course, that makes it a very difficult process, very cumbersome. But luckily, this issue, I think, has resonance throughout the entire state. Everywhere that I've gone, I've been to Tupelo. Their groups have been meeting in the Delta, on the coast. We met in Hattiesburg last night. We're going to have some meetings in Jackson later on. Everywhere I go, there seems to be a passion and a desire and a recognition that this is long overdue, that the legislature is never going to get around to doing this the right way. If the legislature ever does do anything, it's going to be watered down and kind of milquetoast, and we need a strong photo ID only bill and measure. So I felt like this was probably the only way, in the near future at least, until we can replace some of the people in the legislature, that we would ever get this done. And I figured the people of Mississippi, knowing and seeing how the fraud and abuse is going on in certain areas, would be more than happy to step up to the plate and get their neighbors and their family members and their co-workers, church members, whoever, to sign this petition and get this place on the ballot. And I think once it's on the ballot, I really feel strongly that it will pass with some 70, maybe 80%, just an overwhelming majority.